Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about characters in C-dramas who I believe deserved to crash out. Like, they had very, very valid crash outs. So let's get into it. The first one we're going to be talking about is dum 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 dum. Love of Nirvana. We're talking about Ren Jielin's character, Sha Wuxia, and I believe he deserved to crash out because what would you do if you knew who caused the entire massacre of your family? Would you also not want to ensure that they never lived again? I certainly would. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an axe murderer or anything, but I believe in righteous revenge, and I do believe that even though he knew that he was going to have a tragic ending, he absolutely deserved to crash out over revenge. I understand that revenge plotlines are very overdone, but we live in a world where not everybody gets consequences for the things that they do, and so some people put things into their own hands. I can't say I don't understand where Shao was coming from, so he's my first one on the list of people who deserve to crash out. The second one is the Melody from Love Like the Galaxy, played by Leo Wu, Ling Bu-hee. He also deserved to crash out because what would you do if you also knew who killed your entire family and is the reason why you're practically an orphan and your aunt is mad? Would you also not crash out and do this like long-winded revenge plan? Like all revenge stories are filled with characters who deserve to crash out. They usually are crashing out against people that did actually do them wrong, and they only act on correct information. So why would I not think they deserved to crash out? The next one who I believe deserved to crash out was Tan Yan-shi, who plays Shang Leo in Lost You Forever. His crash out is sort of has more to do with the fact that he loved somebody that he could not be with, and so he did do a lot of things in order to fulfill the promise to the person that raised him, as well as try and fulfill the promise to his lover. And his crash out was more so like self-sabotage because he was trying to be the best person possible. So his was not necessarily a story of revenge, but rather a crash out to show that he was a worthy man to his lover, and also somebody that was completely loyal to his uncle. And so his crash out was more so, let's say, a crash in, because he sacrificed himself for the greater good, while allowing himself to be seen as a crash out and an enemy by all. But I mean, still, even though he was perceived as an enemy, like, I still do consider a lot of Shang Liu's behavior as a crash out because he was going against the grain. Like, he did it for a good reason, but we as viewers know that the characters don't. They're just gonna see what he's doing as crash out because even the characters in the show are like, come to our side, we'll welcome you. And I don't think they were lying to him when they were telling him that they would welcome him to their side. So I do believe that, like, his was a righteous crash out, even more so because it wasn't about revenge, but it was literally about making life better for those that would live on beyond him. So he was also a very valid crash out. The next one is Liu Yongshi's character, Tan Tai Jin from Till the End of the Moon. I mean, what would you do if you were told that you were basically fated to be a devil god and you couldn't escape the fate? And the only way you could possibly escape the fate is by sacrificing yourself for the greater good. While also understanding that the whole of your life has been terrible and people have consistently treated you rubbish and you've never really had a good time of it, would you not crash out? Like, he very nearly became the devil god that he was supposed to be, and it was only through different cycles and falling in love and realizing that there was like a better option out there that he didn't end up becoming a devil god. But there were multiple crash out moments until the end of the moon where Tan Tai Jin was just like, I don't care if this is like written in the books and I don't really have a choice. I'm pretty tired of being battered. But once he realizes that he's been battered so many times for a reason, and he kind of, it gets in deeper, I guess, into his mind that everything has been written, he goes against it because he's like, I don't want to follow the plan. I want to do something different. I want agency. And you know, in the end, sacrificing himself is his agency. But the crash outs beforehand, like before he realizes what's been done to him, are very, very valid because He's supposed to crash out. He's expected to crash out. The crash out is supposed to create the devil god, and him not doing that is a good thing. And I'm glad that he didn't become the devil god and that he had his own agency. But I do also believe that the crash outs along the way were completely valid, and I won't argue about that. Like, very, very valid crash outs. Um, I also believe that Romeo and Ashes of Love, even though I didn't really hate this character, also deserved to crash out because he's also played by Liu Yangshi. Because he grew up in an environment where he really felt no love. He felt everybody was against him, even his birth mother. And then he realizes that that's not necessarily the truth, and that his whole birth was this conspiracy. And then he's then told he can't even reunite with the person he's trying to reconnect with, his birth mother. So he hatches this revenge plan against everyone. And I think until the end of the show, he's pretty much enemy number one. Like, they kind of forgive him for the wrongs that he's done. But I'm like, it's a valid crash out. The only thing I disagree with is the way in which he treated Jinmi, like trying to control Jinmi, trying to make her his when she was already somebody else's. But that's the only thing he did wrong. Everything else was valid, and I think he was an intelligent character, and he hatched a very good revenge plan. The only problem is that, trying to force your love on somebody else is really never a good idea. If I say that. And the last one I'm going to mention for crash out is Peng Xiaoran's character, Xiaofang, in Warrior Princess. This one is also a crash-in similar to Xiang Liu in Lost You Forever, because she sacrifices herself for the greater good because she realizes that everybody she loves in the world is gone. The people that are left over, if she decides to continue just doing whatever she wants to and not kind of obeying what duty calls for her to do, then they're going to get hurt. So she decides to crash out in terms of like self-exiting, and she did that because she saw her lover kill her grandfather and then try and say that he loved her the most in the world afterwards. Who wouldn't crash out? And she couldn't divorce her feelings from him from what happened, okay? Like, she couldn't try and live peacefully with all that knowledge. And so her crash out was similar to Xiang Liu's in terms of, I guess I'll just sacrifice myself because this is the only way that the world will have peace. Because she is a princess and she was supposed to just do what she was supposed to do, but her love of freedom meant that she could really only get freedom in debt. And so her crash out is a really violent crash out. It's worse than Xiang Liu's because she does it towards herself instead of other people doing it to her by her own agency. She kind of just is like, I'm going to do this right now. It's a spontaneous decision that also doesn't feel spontaneous because of the many crash outs that she has in the show. Let me know in the comments below what characters in C-dramas that you feel like deserve to crash out, or characters that you think should have crashed out that did not crash out. That would be interesting too. Let me know in the comments below. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Thank you so much for listening and have a lovely evening, day, wherever you are. Bye bye.